All right, thank you for that. Okay, so just recapping quickly that we're now recording. This is the Money Map session 1. This is the Expand Your Wealth program, or Expand Your Worth program, session 1. And we're going to be looking at our money maps and all of the uncomfortable feelings that came up, what got triggered by looking at the money map. And we're going to be looking at this at how it's hit us at a first chakra level. And I want you to be aware as you tune in to the emotions of this, and all of the things that got triggered, all the traumas, all the past memories, anything that you noted down in your money map. And just take a deep breath and feel into it. And notice that there is a reason that we avoid thinking about it because of how uncomfortable it makes us feel. To look at our savings, our debt, and our income, and any of those financial traumas that may have been triggered or have happened in the past, because it's uncomfortable. And just noticing that the healing process starts out by making us sit with this uncomfortable feeling. So I want you to tune into your body at a basic and what we call a first chakra level or nervous system level. And I want you to just feel how unsafe it feels to look at these pieces of your money. So just take a deep breath and say out loud, it doesn't feel safe.
It doesn't feel safe.
I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe.
Just tuning in to how that feels. And maybe this expression fits as well. I've never really felt safe when it comes to money. I'm just going to step away and get my mic just to see if that works better. I don't know if you can hear they decided to do some lawn care next door. All right, can you hear me? Does it work? No? It's working?
I think it's okay. It was just choppy there for a minute. Keep going.
Is it better than what I had it as without it? It's better without?
There's less background noise.
Okay, great. Thank you. I can just keep that real close to my mouth so you can hear me good. Okay. All right, so where were we? Okay, so I never really feel safe when it comes to money. And just note how true that feels for you. So we're going to actually jump right into some tapping. And I'm going to give you some tapping phrases. So you'll repeat after me as we tap together, okay, as a group. And if you haven't done tapping before, or if it's, not something you're used to, I'm going to go over the points with you. So there's the right here in the center by your eyebrow, and then on the outside of your eyebrows, and then right underneath your eye. And you can do both sides if you want, or you can just do one side. Under your nose here, above your lip, below your lip, at the collarbone point. And then there's one under the underarm, which I have my, I have to turn off the virtual background for a second so you can see right here.
And you don't have to do it right. You don't have to do it in order. You can be random. And sometimes I get stuck on one because I'm so like in the emotion, and or if I'm telling a story, if I'm talking to my therapist or something, I could just tap the one point. Okay. So all right. So let's go ahead, and also I'm going to give you the phrases, and you can change the words to what suits you better. So if I say something and you like a different word, or a different word resonates more, it's going to land more for you because this is for you. Okay. So thinking about how uncomfortable your money map made you feel, and start with, this is so uncomfortable. It is so intolerable to feel this. All this anxiety and fear. All the way through my nervous system. It is so upsetting and triggering. I don't want to feel this. I can't imagine how this tapping could possibly help. All this fear in my body. I never really feel safe. Always anxious at some level. I try to ignore it and soldier on. But whenever I have to think about it, anxiety and fear go through my system. Shame and helplessness go through my system. It's so uncomfortable. And I just want to push it away. But I'm just going to honor that. I have always operated in fear around my money. My whole nervous system is wired to be triggered by money. And most of my emotions around it are not good. Fear, panic, sadness, and unfairness. Confusion. Why is it like this? Why do I never feel safe? Why do I never feel taken care of? All the sadness stored in my body, stored deep in my body. Maybe my parents shared this fear, this sadness or this anger. But it's settled in my nervous system as well. And I'm just going to honor it. All the fear that I actually live with. All the fear that I try avoid feeling. It makes me so sad when I think about how much fear I carry. And I have to tolerate. When I think about what I have to manage on a daily basis, all this fear in my system. Looking at money is so triggering. I'm open to healing all that I'm feeling. This deep fear in my system. This realization that I never feel safe. And how far back does this go? And how many other aspects of my life besides money reflects this fear? Maybe fear has been with me since day one. Maybe my childhood was full of anxiety and fear. Maybe I've had so much fear about whether or not I'm good enough. Or whether or not I'm a fraud. Maybe I've had so much fear about being abandoned, rejected, or criticized. The more I feel into it, the more I honor. My first chakra, basic nervous system, is wired for fear. And money just shines a light on it. I totally honor that I hardly ever feel truly safe. I totally honor that I hardly ever feel taken care of. I totally honor how triggering and hard this is to feel. Take a nice deep breath, maybe take a sip of water. And I want you to feel into your body. This is how the money works, then the tapping. It can be the same, doing incredible consciousness work. Because we're opening up the level of consciousness at our first chakra. And as uncomfortable as it is, you're raising your consciousness. It will give you the opportunity to heal, to bring love and compassion and support into the spaces of you that have been afraid for a long time. And I do find it interesting that money is such a metaphor for the first chakra level of safety and security. Because, money is, having money gives us that sense of security and safety. All right, so, and the lack of money shines the light on where we have the fear, and it's on a daily basis. We can feel that on a daily basis. So just honor that in yourselves. Honor that this is consciousness healing work. And it's bigger than money. So feel that into your body. And I'm going to suggest and encourage you to just put a hand on your heart and then one on your solar plexus So just at your third chakra, if you're not sure where they are, just like that. And just kind of almost like you're giving yourself a hug. And I want you to imagine that there is a part of you. We're not just one part, we're many parts. And that there's this part of you that is, or that carries all of your fear. Just this one part has all the fear. And you can imagine this side of you as a child or a younger person, like a little person that is terribly, terribly afraid. So just imagine this little scared child. And when children are afraid, they often cry, and they cry, when there's fear, because there's also sadness mixed in with fear. Because usually with fear, there's loss of not getting to feel safe. And we're supposed to feel safe and held and loved. So I want you to bring that feeling into your system, that your money can start reflecting that reality instead of a history of programming of not feeling safe. So just holding your heart in your third chakra, and imagine that you could hug a side of you, this little child. For some of you, it may be a feeling. For you, it may be a visualization of just holding a young child. So let yourself imagine that you're holding this little kid in your arms, the young child that was afraid before, and you're calming them and soothing them. Imagine as you do that you could feel the bottom of your feet and really grounding to Mother Earth. The solid, firm, magnetic energy of the root chakra, the color red. Just imagining that red energy, that grounding energy coming up from the earth. It grounds us and centers us. And just think about, as you're feeling this grounded energy and this Mother Earth energy holding you as well, that what do we do when someone, particularly your child or child you care about, is afraid and crying? We usually say, hold them, and we say, it's okay, I'm here. And then we let them feel us with this hug, and we ground them against our bodies. So letting that be Mother Earth for you as you hug yourself, hug your own little child. And I want you to feel that in your own system. We need to start shifting this fear and anxiety into this loved, calmed energy so we can attract from there. So feel that in your system. It's okay, I'm here. Feel your feet, feel your body. Connect to the center of the earth. I'm here for you. And then we're breathing together. It's okay. You're safe. So just feeling that in the body, and notice what you're feeling. Notice how it feels for you inside your body right now. Notice if there's any longing for more. Because if there's a yes, this is what I want more of. Notice if your mind is saying, but, I can't feel safe. My money is terrifying, or there's so much to do, and I'm just going to honor that. So honoring that. Okay. Okay, we're going to do some more tapping. So jumping right in. I would love to feel more safe and grounded. Hold and heal this part of me that I'm just realizing is more afraid than I realized before. But my mind is still going. My mind is asking questions. It's saying, but. Nothing has changed. My money is still the same. What am I going to do? Nothing will ever work. This is terrible. I have to get moving. I have to figure something out. But nothing's ever really worked. I need to stay in a state of panic. Or at least disconnect from this fear. My mind is hyper vigilant. And I'm just going to honor that. I'm going to honor that it wakes me up in the middle of the night. Sometimes it doesn't let me sleep. Sometimes it overwhelms me with panicky thoughts. Until I just have to ignore it. But I'm just going to honor that for right now. My mind raises when I'm afraid. My mind is not resourceful when I'm in terror. My mind only knows how to be hypervigilant when I'm feeling fear. My energy shoots up into my head and I lose my grounding and my safety. I honor my mind in all the ways that my energy is driven up into my head, spinning my thoughts when I feel afraid. I honor my mind and I'm open to slowing it down and bringing my energy back down into my core, back down into my body, back down into my hug. I'm here. It's okay. I'm afraid. I'm anxious. And I'm here and I'm okay. Okay, now let's take a deep breath. Put your hand over your heart again and back on your third chakra, your solar plexus. And let's go back to that hug. And just imagine that fearful side of you felt safe for a second. And then went back into that panicking, rambling fear. And you once again calm them down again. And it's okay, grounded to the earth, feeling your legs, your feet, feeling your body, and letting your mind become calm, taking your nervous system down. Maybe 1, 2, or even 3 notches. And so just recognizing when we're in fear, and indeed, and when we're in fear, there's an energy that drives up our thinking faculty. And we live in this ground, we live our, I'm sorry, my notes are messed up. I'm like lost myself here. So we go up into this thinking into our head, and then we need to ground so we can live in our present moment. And that's when we have overwhelm. When we go into this up into our head, we get overwhelmed. And so we have to just learn to keep bringing ourselves down, because it's easy to disassociate when we're in overwhelm and be spinning. And then we start doing lots of scattered things, and none of it's actually, it's inefficient. It's often self-sabotage things. So when we come back down into our body, our mind can be in balance with the rest of our energy system, and our other chakras, our other desires for transformation, and our other impulses to act, all of our other ideas that come not just from a spinning phonetic mind, but from our intuition. We allowing ourselves to be guided by our higher self. And we're more powerful when we're grounded and our body, when we're grounded in our body and our mind. So taking a couple deep breaths and just breathing down into your belly. So breathing into your belly and then letting your chest expand. And letting it be free at first, but then holding your chest full for a moment. And then letting it go. So you can sink down further into your body and into your energy. And imagine that side of you, maybe that scared young child, that you're encouraging them to take this slow, deep breath, and you can help them calming that frightened little one down, just like you would a child, and that you'd ground them against your body and helping them with breathing slow with your own breath. So now maybe as a child, your parents were unable to do that for you. And maybe they had too much anxiety themselves, or there was too much going on, or they just weren't available, or they themselves weren't safe for you to go to. But that's something that we have to heal now as adults. So maybe you didn't have that way of grounding, but now you can do that for yourself, something we have to heal. And we can do this in the world, this healing work. And knowing that there's only a certain % of effectiveness when we're not fully in our body. So we're less effective when we're not fully in our bodies. So this is the healing from the ground level. And in other classes, I talk about this a little bit with the root chakra. Really, if you don't have a solid root chakra, it's going to define the rest of the chakras. So you can work all day up in the upper chakras, meditating and doing all the upper work, spiritual work. But if you're not solid in your root chakra, it's going to come out and not be as grounded and solid and effective in the world. So it's a ground level up. So check into your body right now and feel into your energy. And I want you to look at your money map again. Consciousness means being able to hold sometimes the opposite realities at once. So looking at your numbers might be alarming on paper when you have it all written out. And knowing that that's important and it's something to be thinking about. And at the same time, feeling in your body, grounded and supported and resourceful. And in this present moment, powerful and able to change our reality, that these present results, based on our entire past way of being, and we can change. When we change on the inside, everything on the outside can change. So I want you to practice this exercise of deep breathing and being in your body, even when looking at something that might be upsetting. From your money map is one level of the healing. So I want to just use the rest of our time to do some more tapping, just general tapping on the money map. So this is kind of like going to be a little longer on the negative side of everything that came up in the money map. So doing that together. Kitty. All right. So it's overwhelming. The money map is overwhelming. Every part of my money. And I'm feeling it. It's so heavy. All through my body. I'm ashamed. It's wrong. It's so embarrassing. It's so scary. All the shame in my body. All the stress in my nervous system. It's overwhelming. No wonder I don't spend a lot of time thinking about my money. All this guilt. God, I'm such a loser. A failure. Failure in my money. I'm so ashamed. I'm just going to honor that heavy feeling. Shame, shame, shame. Stuck in my stomach. Like a pit. And what if that feeling never changes? It's so awful and scary. I feel so awful. All this shame. I honor everything I feel. I've said this to myself a million times. Fear, failure, shame, frustrating. It's depressing. I'm disappointed in myself. I should be doing better. I should know better. I should make different choices. I should be able to figure this out. And I never do. I can never get ahead. Failure. So heavy. I honor these dark feelings. I honor that I've been carrying them. And maybe even my parents carried them. All of these dark, shameful feelings. I've made so many mistakes. Don't I deserve to yell at myself? If anyone saw these numbers, I'd be so embarrassed, horrified, and mortified. And people would see the truth about me. That I'm an idiot. Or I'm not strong enough. Or I'm missing something. People would judge me. Oh, and I judge myself. All of this shame. I've been telling myself that I deserve to feel bad. And I'm just going to honor that. I've been really hard on myself. Torturing myself, really. Don't I deserve to feel ashamed? Look at these numbers. Don't I deserve to beat myself up? To judge myself harshly? I've been judging myself for years, feeling ashamed. And from that place, everything feels impossible and overwhelming. And I'm just going to honor that. I honor this feeling of shame, this self-punishment. And I'm open to lightening it up. Maybe it's time. All this shame in my body, all this shame about money, shame about earning, shame about spending, shame that I don't earn enough. I literally cannot win. I honor everything I'm feeling. And I'm open to light, compassion, healing. The truth is, I've seen things today in a whole new light. I get it. Maybe it's time to let go of some of this shame, to let go of my long history of self-punishment. Maybe it's time. I can't move forward without it. And I really do want to move forward. Anxiety in my body about money. Deep programming, fear, and anxiety about money. Anxiety wired into my nervous system. And the thoughts that I think over and over. I totally honor them. And I'm open to healing for my highest good. That was a good bit of tapping. So just take a deep breath and just checking in, seeing how you feel in your body right now. Maybe you feel some buzzing. Maybe you need a little sip of water. Remember that we're working on the nervous system and the electrical field, so water really helps with moving the energy because that's what we do. And so when we do a lot of tapping, sometimes too, yawning might happen. And if you start yawning, usually it means the energy's moving. It's a really good sign. Sometimes people feel tired later on, and the next day, usually the next day is when I feel something different, when I notice like, oh, I have some new way I'm thinking. So just notice how you are right now, and then tomorrow how you might feel. So we did move some energy there. And what I'd like to do is just to jump right into some positive tapping before we go. All right, so let's jump right in. I've been really hard on myself. And it's been really hard on me to have this negative programming in my money. To feel like things are disappointing and impossible. To feel like the cards are stacked against me. That's some really hard stuff. To feel like I don't have enough value or worth to earn more. To feel powerless and disappointed in money all the time. That's really hard. I've lived with anxiety and shame for years. I've paid a real price for my programming. It's hard stuff. And I carry it 24/7. Sometimes it wakes me up in the middle of the night. And I can't sleep. Worrying about money. I totally honor myself. And I've added on top of that being really hard on myself. Really mean. Actually mean to myself. And I've added to this being ruthless. ruthlessly critical, to the point that I've broken my own heart before. I've literally beaten myself down. Of course, that's showing up in my money. And maybe I have some insight as to why I do that. But either way, I'm just going to honor it in a new way today. I give myself the gift of compassion. I give myself the gift of understanding. I'm opening my heart. The wisdom of my heart and understanding. All of this at a higher level. This is so much bigger than money. And it's really affecting all my money. I give myself this gift of self-love. I deserve happiness. I deserve to feel safe. I never got that. And I have a lot of grief around that. And whenever I look at my money, it's just a giant metaphor. I have a lot of sadness. And I'm just going to honor that. I honor that sadness because it's honoring me and everything that I've lost because of the shame and the fear, because of the programming that I have around money. And because I love myself so much, I'm going to heal this. I honor myself now. I honor who I am and who I've always been. And I honor who I am becoming. In this past 50 minutes, I've become more conscious and more compassionate. And that is huge. And I honor who I'm becoming. Conscious and deserving when it comes to money. Powerful and resourceful when it comes to money. I bless everything I wrote down on this piece of paper, this money map. I bless all these numbers. It's my current reality. It's what I've created based on my entire life of programming. And doing my best. And everything is changing now. I bless my current reality. And I'm open to everything that is now possible and unfolding for me. I commit to holding this compassion for myself in my heart. Over the next week, and saying a new thing in my head, which is this: I deserve better. I deserve more. I want more. And I deserve it. Take a nice deep breath. Notice what you're feeling. And just thinking about what you felt at the beginning when we were first looking at all the triggers. You feel lighter? Yeah. More is possible. All right. So for your homework, I am going to send you the positive tapping so that you can do it on a daily basis. I recommend printing it out. I'll have one printed and sitting next to my bed or my my meditation space, and I'll just do a round of tapping in the morning. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Nice to see you.
You too. And your cat.
This is Kukui. He was a little bit distracting sometimes if you saw me like. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.